Jack ran, not for glory, not for adventure. He ran because 3 debt collectors were chasing him through the lower levels of Zarax's station, the largest alien trade hub in the sector. Jack was human. And on Zarax's station, bet already made. Life hard. His boots slammed against the metal floor as warning sirens echoed behind him. The debt collectors were not human. They were Crag Enforcers, tall, armored aliens with glowing red visors and shock staffs that could drop a grown human. In one hit, target located, one of them growled. Jack turned a corner, almost slipping, his lungs burning. He had borrowed credits to escape a failed mining contract. The interest exploded, then came the hunters. He had only one rule now: hide anywhere. Jack spotted an open maintenance door and dove inside. The lights flickered. The hallway was quiet. Too quiet. He slowed down and listened. No footsteps. No alarms. Jack smiled weakly. Okay, he whispered. Then he noticed the sign on the wall. Elite Combat Unit, restricted access. His smile vanished. This is bad, he muttered. The hallway was wide, clean, and built for big beings, very big beings. Along the walls were massive lockers, reinforced doors, and heavy-duty benches. Bolted to the floor, Jack moved forward slowly. He reached another door. This one was half open. Warm air flowed out, mixed with a strange metallic scent and something else wet. He peeked inside. It was a laundry room. But not a normal one. Huge armored chest plates hung from racks. Thick combat pants lay folded on steel tables. Training. Wraps, gloves, and undersuits were stacked in piles taller than Jack himself. These were not for humans. These are military, Jack whispered. A loud metallic clang echoed from the hallway behind him. Jack froze. The Crag Enforcers were close. Panic took over his thinking. He slipped into the laundry room and quietly shut the door. His eyes raced around, searching for a place to hide. No vents, no lockers his size, no exits. Then he saw it. A massive fabric bin, taller than him, filled with dark training uniforms. The material was thick and heavy, clearly designed for strong alien bodies. Jack did not think twice. He climbed in. The clothes swallowed him. The smell was intense metal, heat, and a sharp alien scent that made his nose burn. He tried not to cough. He buried himself deeper, pulling fabric over his head. His heart pounded so loudly he was sure the station could hear it. Seconds passed. Then minutes. Jack focused on breathing slowly. Please don't find me, he thought. Outside the room, heavy footsteps stopped. A mechanical voice echoed down the hall. Search area complete. Target not found. Jack almost laughed. But then, another sound replaced the fear. Laughter. Deep, loud, confident. Female voices. Jack's blood turned cold. The laundry room door slid open. Bright light flooded the room. Jack stayed still. He did not move. He did not breathe. 3. Shadows stepped inside. Each footstep shook the floor. The voices spoke in an alien language, sharp and strong. The tone was relaxed, familiar. They were not enforcers. They were warriors. Jack could feel the heat of them through the clothes. One of them tossed armor onto a rack. Another slammed a heavy belt onto the table. Jack realized the truth far too late. This was not just a military area. This was the locker and laundry room of an elite alien combat team. One of the warriors stretched, her muscles shifting under her armor. The movement caused the fabric bin to shift slightly. Jack froze completely. Did you feel that? One of them asked. Another sniffed the air. That smell, she said. Slowly. That is not ours. Jack's stomach dropped. The third warrior stepped closer to the bin. Her shadow covered Jack completely. She leaned down and sniffed again. Strange, she said. Soft, warm, weak. Jack knew that word. Weak. A large hand gripped the edge of the fabric bin. Jack's mind screamed. The clothes above him were lifted. Light pierced through the darkness. Jack looked up. 3 massive alien women stared down at him. Their skin was hardened and marked with battle scars. Their arms were thick with muscle. Their eyes burned with sharp intelligence and surprise. For a long moment, no one spoke. Then one of them said, very slowly, "Why is there a human in our laundry?" Jack swallowed hard. He raised both hands. And the worst hiding place in the galaxy became very, very quiet. The room stayed silent. Jack stood frozen inside the laundry bin, his hands raised, surrounded by 3 massive alien warrior women. They were tall, broad, and powerful, their bodies shaped by years of combat. Each one could probably break him in half without effort. Jack slowly climbed out of the bin. The fabric fell from his shoulders, and he looked even smaller standing on the metal floor between them. One of the warriors crossed her arms. Her muscles tightened as she moved. "Explain," she said in broken galactic common. "Now," Jack swallowed. His throat was dry. "I was hiding," he said. "Debt collectors. I didn't know this was your room." The second warrior let out a short laugh. It was deep and sharp. "You chose the worst place to hide, little human." "I know," Jack said quickly. "I realize that now." The third warrior had not spoken yet. She walked slowly around Jack, studying him like a strange animal. Her boots were heavy. Every step made Jack tense. "You are weak," she said calmly. "Soft body, no armor, no weapon." Jack nodded. "Yes, humans usually are." That made her stop. She looked at him more closely. "Usually?" Jack realized his mistake. But it was too late to take the words back. The first warrior stepped closer. "Humans lie often," she said. "Why should we believe you are not a spy?" "A spy?" Jack shook his head fast. "No, I swear. I can barely afford food." "Spies don't hide in dirty laundry." For a moment, no one spoke. Then the second warrior laughed again. Louder this time. "That is true," she said. "A spy would hide somewhere smarter." Jack forced a weak smile, but the third warrior did not laugh. She crouched down until her face was level with Jack's. Her eyes were sharp and serious. "Debt collectors," she said. "Which kind?" "Crag enforcers," Jack replied. 3 of them, heavy armor, shock staffs. All 3 warriors stiffened. "The Crag," the first one said, her tone turning cold. "They chase humans for sport." The second added. The third warrior stood up slowly. "If they followed you here, this becomes our problem." Jack's heart sank. "I didn't mean to cause trouble. I'll leave. I promise." He took one step back. A massive hand stopped him. "Too late," the first warrior said. "You are already here." Jack looked up at her. "So, you're going to hand me over?" The warriors exchanged glances. "We do not like the Crag," the second said. "But rules are rules." Jack felt fear crawl up his spine. "Please," he said. "I didn't steal. I just couldn't pay fast enough." The third warrior tilted her head. "Humans run far for creatures so weak," she said. "Why?" Jack thought for a moment. "Because humans survive," he said quietly. "That's what we do." That answer surprised them. The second warrior studied his face. "You speak bravely for someone with no strength." Jack gave a tired shrug. "If I don't speak, I die. If I speak, maybe I don't." Another pause. Finally, the first warrior spoke. "We will not kill you." Jack let out a breath he didn't know he was holding, but she continued. "We will take you to our commander." Jack's relief faded. Is that better?" The second warrior smiled. It was not a kind smile. "That depends on you." They moved fast. One moment Jack was standing in the laundry room. The next he was being escorted through wide metal halls, walking between giants. Soldiers stared as they passed. Some laughed. Some pointed. A human. In the elite combat wing. That never happened. Jack kept his head down. They reached a massive door marked with glowing symbols. The third warrior stopped and looked at him. Human, she said. When you speak to our commander, choose your words. Carefully, Jack nodded. I will. The door slid open. Inside waited a huge chamber, filled with banners, weapons, and a single raised platform. On it stood their commander. He was enormous. Bigger than the others. His armor was dark and marked with old battle scars. His eyes locked onto Jack instantly. So the commander said in a deep voice, "This is the creature who hid in my warrior's laundry." Jack stood straight. "Yes, sir," he said. The commander leaned forward slightly. "Tell me, human," he said, "why should I not crush you where you stand?" Jack knew this moment would decide everything. And for the first time since the chase began, he did not run. He spoke. The commander did not move. He stood tall on the raised platform, arms behind his back, looking down at Jack as if he were something found under a boot. The room was silent except for the low hum of the station. Jack felt very small. "You are human," the commander said slowly. "A species known for running, hiding, and failing." The words were calm, but sharp. Jack did not look away. "Yes, sir." That answer caused a few quiet reactions from the warriors behind him. They expected excuses, fear, begging. The commander narrowed his eyes. "You admit weakness?" Jack nodded. "Humans are not strong like you. We know that." The commander stepped down from the platform. Each step echoed. When he stopped, he was close enough that Jack had to tilt his head to look up at him. Then, "Why do you still stand?" the commander asked. "Why did you not surrender to the crag?" Jack thought carefully. This was not a question about strength. "Because surrender would not save me," Jack said. "It would only delay the pain." The commander studied him. "Interesting," he said. "You understand predators." He turned and motioned toward the center of the room. A wide circular floor lit up with glowing lines. "This is not a combat trial," the commander said. "You would not survive 1 second." Jack felt a small relief, but only a small one. "This is a trial of worth," the commander continued. "You will fail," one of the warriors spoke up. "Commander, he is untrained. His body—" "I know," the commander interrupted. "That is why this will be fair." Fair. Jack did not like how that word sounded. The commander pressed a control panel. The lights changed. 3 holographic pillars rose from the floor, each showing shifting symbols and moving shapes. 3 problems, the commander said. Simple for warriors, impossible for prey. He pointed to the first pillar. "A door," the commander explained. "Locked. You may not break it. You may not force it. You may not hack it." Jack stared at the symbols. They moved in patterns slow, repeating, almost lazy. "What do I do?" Jack asked. "Open it," the commander replied. Jack stepped closer. He watched. He waited. The warriors grew restless. "He is wasting time," one said. Jack noticed something. The pattern repeated every 7 seconds, but one symbol lagged. Behind. Jack pressed it. The hologram flashed green. The door opened. The room went quiet. The second warrior blinked. "That door takes us minutes," Jack shrugged. "Humans watch small things." The commander's eyes sharpened. "Second problem," he said. The next pillar showed a field of moving lights. "Cross without touching red," the commander said. "Red is failure." Jack stepped back. The lights moved too fast. "No clear path." He closed his eyes. "What is he doing?" One warrior whispered. Jack listened. Not with ears, with instinct. He stepped forward, not watching the lights, but feeling the rhythm of their movement. He moved when they slowed, stopped when they rushed. Step by step, he crossed. When he reached the end, his hands were shaking, but he was safe. The commander did not hide his interest now. Final problem, he said. The last pillar showed 3 containers. One held air, one held poison, one held nothing. You may open only one, the commander said. Choose wrong and you collapse. Jack swallowed. How? Do I know? He asked. You don't, the commander replied. Jack looked at the containers. They were identical. Then he laughed softly. The warriors stiffened. Laughing in a trial was unheard of. You think this is funny? The commander asked. No, Jack said. Just familiar. He tapped the second container. The hologram vanished. Nothing happened. Jack stayed standing. The commander stared. How? One warrior demanded. Jack exhaled. Poison needs warning signs. Air needs containment. Nothing needs nothing. Silence filled the chamber. The commander straightened. You passed, he said slowly. The warriors murmured, shocked, confused. But, the commander added, this does not make you strong. Jack nodded. No, sir. The commander stepped closer again. Then tell me, human, why does your kind keep surviving stronger species? Jack met his eyes. Because when we can't win, Jack said, we adapt. When we can't fight, we think, and when we can't escape, he paused, we endure. The commander turned away. Your body is weak, he said. But your kind is dangerous. An alarm suddenly blared. Red lights flashed. A voice echoed through the chamber. Crag enforcers have entered the combat wing. The warriors moved instantly, hands going to weapons. The commander looked back at Jack. It seems, he said, your trial is not over. Jack's heart began to race again. This time, though, he did not feel like prey. The alarm did not stop. Red lights flooded the chamber, painting the walls like spilled blood. The calm trial room turned into a war zone in seconds. Crag enforcers. The commander said coldly, they should not be this deep. The 3 warrior women moved at once, armor locked into place, weapons powered up. Their bodies were built for battle, and it showed. Jack stood in the middle of it all, heart racing. I can leave, he said quickly. This is my problem. The commander looked down at him. No, he said, now it is ours. The floor beneath Jack shifted. Panels slid open, revealing a wide training arena connected to the command chamber. The walls were scarred from old fights. This place was made to test warriors. Human, the commander said, you will stand there. Jack's stomach dropped. Stand there and do what? Survive, the commander replied. Before Jack could ask more, a heavy door slammed shut behind him. The arena lights came on. Across the arena, another door opened. 3 Crag enforcers stepped inside. Their armor was thick and ugly, covered in sharp edges. Their visors glowed red. Shock staffs crackled with energy. Target acquired, one of them growled. Transfer human. The commander's voice echoed through the arena. This human is under trial, the Crag laughed. Trial or not, he belongs to us. They stepped forward. Jack's legs felt like stone. He had no weapon. No armor. No strength. The first enforcer charged. Jack ran not straight, but sideways. He remembered the commander's words. This is not about strength. The enforcer swung his shock staff. It hit the ground where Jack had been a second before, sending sparks into the air. Jack slid behind a training pillar. The warrior women watched from above. He will die, one said. Watch, the commander replied. Jack spotted something on the arena floor, loose cables from an old training rig. He grabbed one and pulled it across the ground. The second enforcer followed, heavy steps shaking the floor. Jack jumped. The enforcer did not. He tripped, crashing down with a loud metallic slam. The third enforcer roared and fired a stun blast. Jack dove behind a metal crate. The blast hit the crate, melting part of it. Stop running, the enforcer shouted. Jack peeked out, breathing hard. I don't need to stop, he muttered. I just need time. He noticed the arena's overhead lights, old, exposed, powered by thick conduits. Jack climbed the crate. Ignoring the pain in his arms, the first enforcer charged. Again, Jack kicked the loose cable into the air and slammed it into an exposed power line. The lights exploded. The arena went dark. The enforcers cursed. They relied on visors and tech. Jack relied on memory. He moved quietly, counting steps, remembering positions. He threw a piece of metal. One enforcer turned toward the sound. Jack ran the other way. A shock staff fired, missing. The enforcer overcorrected, crashing into the arena wall. The warrior women stared in disbelief. He is controlling them, one whispered. The lights flickered. Back on. Only one enforcer was still standing. The commander's voice echoed again. Enough, the enforcer froze. Commander, you violated station law, the commander said. You entered a restricted combat zone. The enforcer hesitated. That hesitation cost him. The alien warriors dropped into the arena like falling stars. The fight was over in seconds when the dust settled. Jack was on his knees, shaking, covered in sweat and grease, but alive. The commander approached. You did not fight, he said. Jack looked up. I couldn't. You used the arena, the commander continued. You used their habits, their anger. Jack nodded. They were stronger, so I let them be careless. The commander turned to his warriors. Remember this, he said. Strength without thought is weakness. One of the warrior women stepped toward Jack. She extended a hand. Jack hesitated, then took it. She lifted him easily. You surprised us, human, she said. Jack managed a tired smile. I surprise myself a lot. The commander looked at Jack one last time. The galaxy sees humans as prey, he said. That view is changing. Another alarm sounded, but this one was different. Not danger. A legal alert. Debt collectors detained. The station voice announced. Jack exhaled deeply. For the first time since arriving on Zarax's station, he felt safe. But the commander's next words told him the story was far from over. Human, he said, your debt is gone. But your presence has created a new problem. Jack blinked. What kind of problem? The commander's eyes glowed slightly. A political one. The arena slowly returned to normal. Maintenance drones moved in, sealing broken lights and pulling away damaged equipment. The Crag enforcers were dragged out in energy cuffs, still shouting threats that no one listened to anymore. Jack stood near the edge of the arena, arms crossed around himself. His body felt weak, but his mind was still sharp. He knew one thing clearly now. He was alive. But not free. The commander watched him in silence. You embarrassed the Crag, the commander finally said. They will not forget this. Jack nodded. I don't expect them to. The three warrior women stood nearby. Their expressions were different now. Not amused. Not curious. Respectful. One of them, tall, broad-shouldered, with a deep scar across her collarbone, stepped forward. Her name was Rexa. Commander, Rexa said. The human acted with honor. Several officers turned to look at her. The commander raised an eyebrow. Honor? He did not attack when he could, Rexa continued. He did not kill when he had the chance. He survived without cruelty. Jack blinked. He had not thought of it that way. Another warrior crossed her arms. The Crag will demand him, she said. They always do. As if summoned by the words, the chamber doors opened again. This time, the figures entering were not soldiers. They were legal envoys. Tall, thin aliens wearing long, dark robes, their eyes glowing with cold intelligence. The symbol of interstellar law floated above them. Behind them, restrained but furious, stood the Crag leader. This human is ours, the Crag leader snarled. He owes us. Your station interfered. The legal envoy spoke calmly. A claim has been made. The human is a debtor. Jack felt his chest tighten. The commander looked down at him. Is this true? Jack did not lie. Yes, I owe credits. But the interest was illegal. The envoy's eyes flickered. That will be decided later, the crag leader smiled. Hand him over. The room felt heavy. Jack realized something terrible. No matter what he had proven, no matter how he survived, the law did not care. He took a slow breath. I understand, he said quietly. I'll go. Rexa turned sharply. No. Everyone looked at her. She stepped between Jack and the envoys. This human entered our combat wing, she said loudly. He passed a commander's trial. That does not grant protection, the envoy replied. Rexa lifted her chin. Under Varkesh warrior law, any being who survives a trial under command authority may be claimed as a protected associate. The chamber went silent. The envoy hesitated. That law is rarely invoked. Rexa turned and placed one massive hand on Jack's shoulder. I invoke it now, she said. Jack froze. What? What does that mean? He whispered. Rexa looked down at him. Her voice softened, but only slightly. It means, she said, you are under my shield. The crag leader roared. You cannot claim prey. Rex's eyes burned. He is not prey. The envoy consulted a floating display. Symbols moved rapidly. Finally the envoy spoke. The claim is valid. The words hit Jack harder than any weapon. The human, the envoy continued, is now a protected associate of Rexa, of the elite combat unit. Any attempt to seize him will be considered an act of aggression. The crag leader slammed his fists against his restraints. This is not over. He was dragged away. The envoys turned and left. Silence returned. Jack slowly looked up at Rexa. You didn't have to do that. Rexa shrugged. Perhaps not. Why did you? Jack asked. She studied him carefully. You remind us of something we forgot. Jack frowned. What's that? That strength does not always look like muscle, she said. The other warriors nodded. The commander stepped forward. By claiming him, you take responsibility, he warned. His actions reflect on you. I accept, Rexa said without hesitation. The commander looked at Jack. Your debt is suspended. Not erased. You will remain on this station. Jack's heart skipped. As a prisoner? The commander shook his head. As a guest. Jack let out a shaky laugh. That's new for me. Rexa gestured toward the exit. Come, you need food. Humans break easily. Jack smiled weakly. You're not wrong. As they walked out together, Jack felt eyes on him. Warriors, officers, strangers. They were not looking at him as prey anymore. They were watching something unfamiliar, a human who did not break, but as the doors closed. Behind them, the commander spoke quietly to himself. This human has changed more than he knows. Because somewhere far beyond the station, the crag were already planning revenge. Jack did not sleep. The room they gave him was small, clean, and clearly built for someone much larger. The bed was too hard. The lights were too bright. But that was not why his eyes stayed open. His mind would not slow down. Only one cycle ago, he had been a hunted debtor. Now he was a protected associate of an elite alien warrior. That kind of change was dangerous. Outside his room, the station buzzed with activity. Word spread fast on Zarax's station. Too fast. In the command wing, officers argued in low voices. A human? One said. Protected by Rexa? This will attract attention, another replied. The council watches everything. They were right. By the next cycle, the story had already left the station. A human survived a commander's trial. A human embarrassed the crag. A human was claimed by an elite warrior on distant worlds. Screens lit up with Jack's image small. Tired, standing among giants. Some laughed, some were angry. Some were afraid. In the training hall, Jack sat alone on a bench, watching warriors spar. Every strike shook the floor. He felt weak again. Out of place, Rexa approached, carrying a heavy ration pack. "Eat," she said, handing it to him. Jack opened it and stared. "This could feed 10 humans." "Then eat slowly," Rexa replied. As he ate, he noticed other warriors watching him. Whispering, measuring. "They think I'm some kind of symbol," Jack said quietly. Rexa nodded. "You are. That's bad," Jack said. Rexa gave a short smile. "Yes." A young officer approached them, clearly nervous. "Rexa," he said, "the commander requests your presence, and the humans." Jack stiffened. "What now?" "Politics." Rexa answered. The command chamber was different this time. Screens filled the walls. Alien faces from many species appeared: leaders, observers, council members. One spoke first. "You are the human," Jack swallowed. "Yes." "You are small," another said, "and loud in our news." Jack did not know what to say to that. The commander spoke. This human acted under trial. He broke no law. A tall insect-like counselor leaned forward. Yet his survival challenges assumptions. Jack realized the truth, then. This was never about him. It was about what he represented. "Humans are not warriors," a reptilian counselor said. "Why protect one?" Rexa stepped forward. "Because warriors are not defined by size." The council murmured. Jack raised a hand slowly. The room quieted. "I didn't mean to cause trouble," he said. "I just wanted to live." Silence followed. Then one counselor said, "That may be the most honest answer we have heard today." The commander turned to Jack. "You will remain here under observation." Jack nodded. "I understand." After the meeting, Jack returned to the hall. Something had changed. The warriors no longer ignored him. Some nodded. Some asked questions, simple ones. "How did you think so fast? Were you afraid? Do all humans run like you?" Jack answered honestly. Double quotes, "Yes, always, and yes." A transmission alert flashed across the station. Crag territory movement detected. Rex's expression hardened. "They are angry," she said. Jack looked up at her. "Because of me?" "Because of what you showed," she replied. Jack felt a strange weight settle on him. He had never wanted to represent humanity, but the galaxy had chosen him. That night, a message arrived from Earth. It was short. Human presence acknowledged. "Stand firm." Jack stared at the words. He was no longer alone, and somewhere out there, the Crag were preparing to make an example. The question was no longer whether Jack would survive. It was whether the galaxy was ready for what humans truly were. The first human ship arrived without warning. It did not come with weapons charged. It did not come in attack formation. It came slowly, calmly, and stopped just outside Zarax's station. The galaxy noticed. On every major network, the same image appeared: a small human vessel floating beside a station built for giants. It looked fragile, out of place. Jack stood in the command chamber, staring at the screen. "That's us?" he asked quietly. Rexa stood beside him. "Yes," the commander folded his arms. "Your people do not rush into danger," he said. They announced themselves. A transmission request appeared. The commander nodded. "Open channel." A human face filled the screen. Older, calm, tired eyes that had seen too much. "This is Captain Elias Grant of the Terran Diplomatic Corps," the man said. "We request peaceful dialogue." Jack felt his chest tighten. The council members appeared again, watching closely. "Why now?" one demanded. Captain Grant answered without hesitation. "Because one of ours was threatened." The room went silent. The commander glanced at Jack. "You did not tell them to come." Jack shook his head. "No, sir," Grant continued. "Humanity does not seek conflict, but we do not abandon our own." Rexa felt something shift inside her. The crowd response came moments later, angry, loud, full of threats. They demanded Jack's release. They called humans parasites. Grant listened. Then he spoke again. "You hunted a civilian," he said. "You violated neutral law, and you lost." The crag leader snarled. "He is weak," Grant nodded. "Yes. Individually." He leaned closer to the camera. "That has never mattered." Data streamed across the screens, records, trade histories, conflict outcomes, every time humans were underestimated, every time they adapted, every time they endured. The council grew uneasy. The commander turned to Jack. "You were never just running," he said. "You were showing us something." Jack swallowed. "I was just trying not to die," Grant smiled faintly. "That's how all our legends start," the council voted. The result appeared in cold, glowing text. "Humanity, recognized as a resilient species, protected status granted." The crag roared in fury. The channel closed. The station grew quiet. Rexa looked down at Jack. "You are free." Jack exhaled slowly. "I don't feel like it." The commander approached. "You changed how this station sees humans." Jack shook his head. "I didn't change anything, I just survived." "That is enough," the commander replied. Later, in the laundry room where it all began, Jack stood alone for a moment. The bins were clean now. The air calm. Rexa joined him. "You chose to stay," she said. Jack nodded. "Someone has to explain humans." She tilted her head. "And what are humans?" Jack thought for a long moment. "We are the ones who hide," he said. "And the ones who come back." Rexa placed a hand over her chest in warrior respect. Across the galaxy, the story spread. A human hid in alien laundry. A human survived giants. A human made the galaxy look twice. Jack was no longer a fugitive. He was a reminder, never underestimate humanity. And for the first time, the galaxy listened.